Hi everyone, so in this video we're going to be looking at what is Amazon S3 and how we can use it. So S3 bucket stands for simple storage service, and it is a type of block storage that is an object storage that is provided by Amazon. And you can store all kinds of data here. So it can be from log files, your application data, videos, pictures, any kind of archival or backup data that you have, and so on. So you can move all of this data into Amazon S3. And what is the advantage that you get? So you will be able to access the items in the S3 bucket from all over the world. You will gain fine access control data. So you will be able to specify which users can access the data in the S3 bucket. And also you have different storage classes as well. So basically you have your normal storage where you can have your frequently used data. You can then, if you're not going to use some data for a long time, you can move it to infrequent storage and so on. So you can even have like backup of old data that you can move into archival storage. Apart from that, you can connect your S3 bucket into your on-premises server with an S3 gateway endpoint, as well as you'll be able to gain enhanced insights into the data in your S3 bucket by connecting it to a service like, let's say, Amazon Athena. So now let's have a look at a live demo on how we can create an S3 bucket and how it's being used. So I'm going over to my Amazon AWS console here. I have already logged in. Here I'm in the S3, the Amazon S3 page. So here I'm going to click on create bucket. And so the first thing is we'll have to give a bucket name, and this bucket name needs to be unique for a region, right? So for this one, I'm going to give it as my test bucket, and we'll call this YouTube tutorial army zone. Okay. So I'm just going to give a big name so that we don't, so that it'll be unique. And yeah, as you can see here, they have mentioned as well, bucket name must be unique. So and in case you have some existing S3 buckets, you can even copy over the bucket settings from that particular S3 bucket. Now in terms of ownership, again, as I mentioned, you'll be able to have like fine-tuned control on who gets access to these S3 buckets. So as of now, we'll just have it like disabled. You can also like enable it and give access controls to only those particular users for which it's required. So for now, let's just keep it disabled. And here is like the main important thing. So in case you have to have some data, let's say your application has some images that you don't want access to the public internet, for that you will have to do this, block all public access, so that these objects won't be accessible from the internet. For now, let's turn this option off so that we'll be able to access all of the content over the internet. And as you can see here, as soon as you uncheck this checkbox, it gives you a warning as well that turning off the block all public access might result in the bucket and the objects becoming public. So here we're just going to click on I acknowledge, and we're going to move on. Bucket versioning means that you'll be able to, if it's enabled, you will be able to add multiple files. Let's say you have one version of a file and you want to update it with a new version, but you don't want to lose the older data, then you can turn on versioning. So it maintains multiple versions of the same file. So for example, you have an image and it's called 1.jpg, and you have updated that image now to you have added some more content into that image, and now if you upload it back into the S3 again, it'll create it as a new version of that particular image, and you'll be able to access even the older versions as well. For now, let's just have it disabled, or we can enable it as well. I guess let's just enable it for now. Now coming into encryption, so by default it is managed, there is like server-side encryption with Amazon S3, and the keys are managed in KMS side. And so with this option, the Amazon S3 itself will be managing the keys. You can also do server-side encryption where the keys are managed by KMS, but right now that is not required for us, so let's just go with the default encryption. And if you go to the advanced settings as well, you have one option called object lock. So this is basically a worm type model. So basically write once, read many. So in case you have some kind of auditing that happens and you need the data in the buckets that should not be deleted, right? If you need some data and they cannot be deleted, then you can use this. So when you enable this, this will all the objects in that bucket will not be able to be deleted until for a fixed amount of time. So if you enable it here, then you won't be able to delete the particular objects for the amount of time that you specify. So for now, let's just have it disabled, and let's click on create bucket. So must not contain uppercase, right? So let's just use smaller cases here. Let's see if hyphen is allowed. So again, YouTube tutorial, and let's create bucket. So right now our bucket is being created, and right now you can see here, this is my new bucket name I have. And let me just click on this and go into my bucket. Right now you can see I don't have any objects here, so I can upload objects into my particular S3 bucket, right? So let me do that. Let me click on upload, drag and drop file. So let me add a file. Let me add this image that I want to upload here. I'm going to add it. So this is going to be my destination. For now, let's just upload it and we'll see what happens. Great, so now it's uploaded, right? So let's click on the close button, and you can see here. Okay, so now as you can see here, this image is successfully uploaded. And if we need to access this, let's just click on this open button here. And now as you can see here, our image is successfully uploaded on S3 and it should be accessible, right? Now let's look at some additional details as well. So now we have a versions tab here. As of now, you can see this is the current version. Now if I need to upload another image, so let's say I'm going to go back to my thing here. I'm going to click on upload and add the same image again. So now this will be uploaded as a new version. So let's go here, it's uploaded. Let's close this. Let's go here and go to versions, and now you can see here a new one has been uploaded, which I have done now, and the old one is shown here. So we'll be able to access both of these like versions, and this is useful in case you don't want to accidentally like delete any objects and so on. And another option to show you guys is that we can move it to different tiers, storage tiers. So what I mean by that is, let's go to properties, storage classes there. So what this storage class means is that, so you have all of these different classes: S3, Express, One Zone, Standard, Intelligent Tiering. So what all of this means is that by default it is uploaded into standard class. So here what it means is that this is for your general purpose frequently accessed data, and you'll be able to retrieve the data within like milliseconds. So that's what they have mentioned here, and it'll be added. So your object will be available in multiple availability zones, so that you have the data redundantly stored in multiple places. So in terms of intelligent tiering, AWS will determine how frequently you access this particular data, and based on that, it will automatically move it into other storage classes. And so here also it is available in all, like multiple availability zones. And standard IA, so which is basically for infrequently accessed data. So let's say you access a particular data once a month. So you have some auditing data that you access only once a month. So you can move it to this. This will, for like the minimum storage duration is 30 days, and it will cost less when compared to the standard storage class. And One Zone IA is the same thing as standard IA, except here your data will be available in only one availability zone. And for long-term archival purpose, you can move it to Glacier Instant Retrieval and Glacier Deep Archive. So in Glacier Instant Retrieval, you'll be able to again access it in milliseconds, and for this the minimum storage duration is like 90 days. And in terms of Glacier Deep Archive, it'll take a couple of hours to retrieve your data, and this is for, let's say you want to access the data only once in a year, right? So in that case, you would move it to your deep archive, which would basically allow for lesser cost as well. So this is it for S3 buckets, and there are also like additional concepts that, let's say you don't want your you want to provide access to a particular object, but they are not. You want to provide like a temporary access. Then you can have pre-signed URLs. So you can create pre-signed URLs for your objects, and with those pre-signed URLs, see you have an option called share with a pre-signed URL. You can choose the amount of minutes or hours that you want that person to access this object, and then you will get a URL. So with that URL, you'll be able to access the objects in that bucket. So that is another concept in S3, and like I said, it's a very good object storage solution that is given from Amazon side, and this can be coupled with a lot of different like workflows. So you can, let's say, have for your application which is hosted on EC2, it can store the images and big files, log files into an S3 bucket, or it can even take a backup. So your database backups can be pushed to S3 buckets, and then afterwards, if you need to analyze the data, you can use Amazon Athena to analyze the older data and so on. So there are a lot of ways that you can utilize S3 bucket, and I hope you found this video informational. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.